Hey there, so today we have another review. Actually, I guess, yeah, it's a re-review. So this is Fathead's Headhunter again. It's been a week since I initially reviewed it for you guys. Geez, Rocco is thirsty. Anyway, this was canned right about a month ago, so super fresh. The second can that I'm reviewing, I'll probably do a couple more, and if you guys aren't aware, this is very rare that I do like consecutive of a single beer. I think the most popular one I did was like maybe when the channel started, which was Heady Topper. John Kimmick, head brewer at Alchemist, was like, this beer is best at 10 weeks. So I, did a review of it every week. Week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. In the end, you can't really notice much change on a fridged IPA that's, high quality control, blah, 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 blah. But I think part of it's not only, or more importantly, it's not about hey, does a beer oxidize, blah, blah, in a couple weeks while it's kept in perfect condition, in fridge and all that good stuff, and it's fresh. But more hey, what is the evolution of the beer sort of change for you as you get more familiar with the beer? Because I'm not familiar with this beer. I've had it literally once 10 years ago. And then I got greedy and tried one can, reviewed one can for you. So this is my 4th time having the beer ever. So yeah. And then, you guys can see my initial review, how this is the most important beer. This is the greatest beer of all time, apparently. So, and actually, it's really useful. If you guys don't have this magazine, I highly recommend it. I'll probably do a video recommending this, but if you have a gift for somebody, I highly recommend Craft Beer and Brewing magazine subscription. I believe it's 4 or 5 times a year. You get an issue. It has tons and tons of content in it. Super geeky stuff. Really just fun content, especially for the geeks out there. As if you guys know any people that are really into beer. And then this beer was on, you can see it. Headhunters right there, Fatheads. And we're going to do a little bit of compare and contrast, right? So, yeah, it's compare and contrast. So, I'm going to read along for you guys. Beer comes in a luminescent gold color with a robe. Why am I reading this way? Jeez. Beer comes in a luminescent gold color with a robust foam and lace. Yes. My glass. My glass. Yeah. I use a sponge that probably was not ideally completely beer sanitary. So ignore that. I'm sorry about that. Aroma offers sun-kissed orange candies, lemon drops, candy, citrus peels, and drops of pear. Yeah, I can say all that. There's also a noticeable dankness and a sweet malt character again. But yeah, spot on the nose. Cheers. Oh yeah. Round juiciness. Gets a fleeting moment in the sun. Clean malt sweetness, exactly. Builds a picnic blanket. Blah, blah, blah. Shady pine bitterness. Shady-pines bitterness. Nostalgic, shady-pines bitterness. Nostalgic, shady pines bitterness. So this is nostalgic bitterness. This kind of bitterness is so forward. It reminds me of Lunch and Heady Topper. And what else is so aggressively bitter like this? Some of the Torpedo IPA. But yeah, really, Lunch. Lunch is the big one, and Heady Topper, noticeably saturated hoppy beers, but also just big bitterness. They don't mess around with their bitterness on those beers, despite being highly acclaimed and all that stuff. And this beer highly acclaimed. These are 3 world class, highly acclaimed. I think for a lot of people, those are 3 of the greatest beer IPAs of all time, and those are all very solid bitterness. Some resin lingers, but not so roughly that prevents you from going back. Yeah, high drinkability on this guy. Part of the drinkability of this guy is it's dry, saturated, hoppy, and then bitter. Fatheads calls it a West Coast IPA, which can be code for not hazy. Blah 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 blah. Midwest Coast represents. Yeah, so this is a West Coast style IPA from the Midwest, right? Doesn't really taste like a Midwest IPA, or a Midwest. I would think of beers like a Founder Centennial, and especially the big one would be Bell's Two Hearted. This beer tastes nothing like that. Yeah. See, oh, there you go. We already had top scoring nominees for our spring issue. And as Jamie Bogner, editor of Craft Beer and Brewing, we already reviewed IPAs. So if you send one, you almost have no chance. As in, they've reviewed all the IPAs already, and then this one arrives. And on their editor's best picks, these beers are picked blind. So World Beer Cup, World Beer Cup, and JBF combined. This beer won gold in both categories of IPA, combined 600 entrants, full blind. And then Craft Beer and Brewing gets submitted hundreds and hundreds of beer, full blind. And somehow this beat, this won at Craft Beer and Brewing, this won at World Beer Cup, this won at JBF. So just high accolades for this guy. But yeah, let's dig it back into beer. So as I drink it more, noticeable a little bit of like pine, lingering pine character. And then again, I'm really enjoying that freshness. That I'm a little bit jaded now that I had those super fresh Stone IPA and the Stone Root Nation original OG Stone Root Nation double IPA, and both those beers and this beers, all three of these beers that I've reviewed in the last few months, have this like, the hops are so freaking intense. I don't know what it is. I've heard it's maybe a yeast ester or just hops. They're so dank that they come off plasticky. Like I know that flavor from like, some file heavy New Zealand hops, but these are not New Zealand hop beers. So it just maybe like these hops you're getting are just so expressively thiol heavy, even though they're so thiols are like a small fraction compound of the total makeup of the flavor profile of the hops. Generally, when we talk about thiols, we're going to be talking about Southern Hemisphere hops, specifically Australian and New Zealand hops. That's where get thiols, and the comparison goes to a Sauvignon Blanc, which you get all those flavors from thiols. American hops obviously have thiols, but they're just not generally known to express them that much. And like here, I feel it's the thiols that are just like exploding. Full blind, I would have guessed there's some kind of New Zealand hop in here. There's also this kind of like musty earthiness. This beer not only sells West Coast, as in like California West Coast, like dry San Diego, but I also get a little bit of Portland, Oregon. When I reviewed a bunch of those beers, a lot of those beers were bone dry, bitter, but also had this really had a marijuana component to them. They were a little bit dank, but also just this base tone of earthy bitterness, like just pot soil, like brown dirt. It's like, and it's a base tone bitterness that complements the pine and the resin. So yeah, it's fun getting familiar with this beer. There's a wonderful juiciness too in here. Like it's not like hazy IPA juiciness, but it's just a West Coast juiciness. It's a heady topper juiciness, right? Oh man, so good. So good. I'm still liking it just about as much. I haven't found anything. Is there like a weird like light blueberry flavor in here too? That's the fun thing about these great beers too, is that they're chameleons. They have so much going on that like, this beer is drinkable and dry. So like this could be your just IPA crusher. I'm super jealous of anybody that lives in Ohio, Midwest, Pennsylvania, whatever, that can just find this beer on the shelf, go to a gas station, pick it up, bang. Like this is such a great beer. Just like sit there, enjoy it, like just not think about it. Like this would be like, if this is your shelf IPA, you're blessed. But the other cool thing about it is like, not only is it a drinker because it's bitter, dry, hop expressive, but then like it has complexity to it too. So like you can actually sit down with the Teiku, you could drink it like this and go, and, enjoy it. But you could also do one of these and, pinky out and all. What I'm doing with right now, and like just think and think. So it's fun. That's what makes great beers great. I'm gonna follow my rating. Actually, I think I'm gonna bump it up even more. I'm gonna go 99 on this guy. So I think I'm just slowly appreciating it more. We'll see. I got a couple more cans left. I don't think I can find it in my market anymore. I think they just dropped it once and that's it. I'm gonna have to email Fatheads. I know I actually told myself I'm gonna email Fatheads last week, but I got bothered again. I'm like, hey, where's the beer? Are you sending more, please? I think I literally have 3 cans left. Okay. Until next time, guys. Cheers. Awesome beer. Cheers. Later.